Hi, I'm Gabby, and welcome to Gabbing with Gabi. In this series, we sit down with fellow artists who brought their knowledge and talent to the world via the internet. It's a chance for them to put down their brushes, step away from their easels, and to talk about themselves. And it's also a great chance for all of us to get to know them better. Our guest today is Gini. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gini Deaton, and I've been painting for over 40 years plus. um, I just, for the past 6 or 7 years, I've been teaching. Uh, and I just, that's pretty much who I am.
Okay,
I'm an
awesome.
oil painter. Yeah.
And what state are you from?
I'm in Indiana.
Okay, awesome. A lot of painters in your area.
Yeah, I live about 45 minutes from the Bob Ross event in Muncie, and
Yeah.
I get some of their painters because their classes fill up so fast that I get a lot of the overflow from that.
Mhm.
And I participated up there. I used to do demonstrations in uh, the LL Bean Mansion. They would do like an event and have me come up and paint live while they had people looking at his paintings and that sort of thing. So I've been involved with that a little bit.
Interesting. That's so
Yeah.
fascinating. I think out of everybody I've talked to, you must have been the longest running painter. 40 years is a long time.
Yeah. Well, I started when I was like 14, 15 years old. I got an easel for my birthday, I think it was. And I sat out in my yard and I painted a tree and I painted our house and that sort of thing on a piece of masonite board. I have that somewhere. I kind of lost it, but I have that somewhere. But yeah, I started by looking at, I think I saw Bob Ross on TV, but I don't know if I really believed that he was painting that painting in, less than 30 minutes. I thought it was some kind of TV magic going on. And but then I went to like Hobby Lobby and got Dorothy Dent books. I don't know if you remember her. She was an excellent painter, and she had a lot of books out. And I would get her books, and I would follow her instructions and her colors, and she had patterns in there and everything. And so I really kind of think of my painting uh, lessons as starting with her way back.
Yeah,
I don't even know if they have her book. I don't think they even have her books in the stores anymore.
probably not.
I've got a stack of them though. I've got a stack of them. Yeah.
That's so fascinating. Do you know what really drew you to art when you first started?
I've just always been a drawer. I've drawn, I've doodled. I finally did go to college, and when I did that, I took graphic design, and I got a visual communications degree in Dayton, Ohio, where I'm originally from that area, and did graphic design and then I got into the website design when that became a thing. I worked for an advertising agency, and back then they didn't even have anybody who could do it. So I had to teach myself to do that. And so we could offer that to our clients, and I continued on for there. So for about my whole working career, I was a graphic designer and a web designer. And when I retired, I I took I used to do arts and crafts shows. You remember when they had arts and crafts shows in the mall? I used to do those, and we would set up a booth, and I painted all the welcome friends signs and the geese. I painted so many beaks and feet orange that you wouldn't believe. And I kind of got burnt out of doing that. Kind of stopped painting for a while, raised my kids, and then got back into painting years later. But I've been painting off and on for well over 40 years.
Wow. And is there a specific medium that you prefer?
Oil. I'm an
Yeah.
oil painter. Yeah, I've tried acrylics, and I've done a couple of really nice acrylic paintings, and I just am not they just don't work the way I want paint to work. So I'm an oil painter, and I've used the wet into wet method for ever since I've been painting. Yeah, that's what
Wow.
I do.
Yeah. Well, you landed in the right medium, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
and
good.
I have a lot of acrylic painters come to my classes, and I tell them, forget everything you know. You're going to learn how to do it the easy way.
Mhm. Yeah, no kidding. because it's different. It's blending versus layering. It's just, it's kind of
Yes.
a different world.
Yeah.
So
You can blend with acrylics, but you've got to use an extender. And if you've got to go to all that trouble to do that, why not just use oils to begin with, is kind of my motto on that.
yeah, I think that's a good motto. I think you hit the nail on the head there. So do you have other hobbies outside of art?
I've recently bought a recumbent bicycle, the ones that have the 3 wheels with the big, with the big wheel in the front. And I've been doing that for exercise. But other than that, I paint, I mean, I told about 6 or 7 years ago when I retired from my uh, regular job, I, I painted every day for 2 years. And I tell my students, in order to get better, you've got to practice, and I could see a huge difference in my painting when I did that. And I mean, I look back on some of my older paintings now and I throw them away because they were so bad. But yet I was still teaching, and they weren't awful. They just are not as good as I know I can do them now. But I do try to paint pretty much every day.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. Good for you. Let's see. Do you have anything that you sort of struggle with when it comes to doing painting or art or anything like that?
Um, I think the only thing I struggle with is having patience with myself, because every painting you do comes to an ugly stage, and you look at it and you go, oh my God, I should just trash this, and but I push forward and eventually I get it to a place to where I like it. I think as artists, we are not ever completely happy. And I look at paintings that I've done years ago and I'll sit down and still fiddle with them and improve them and add depth or whatever it needs. But I think just having patience with yourself and don't walk away too soon is what I would say. Give yourself time to figure it out as you paint.
Mm-hmm. What do you think has been easy for you artistically?
um, I don't know. I find it I think drawing has been easy for me. And I kind of equate that to my years as a graphic designer, because I use Photoshop and Illustrator and all those graphic design programs. And as I was using those, I was kind of teaching myself how to draw. And so when I started painting again, it was kind of like, oh, I can draw. I can look at a photograph and I can draw it without having to trace it. Now a lot of times I'll do a method where I print it out and trace it anyway to save time, but I can look at something and draw it. And I think that is one of the things that I found easy. And like I said, I don't know that it was something that I just automatically could do. I think it was something that over the years I kind of learned based on my history of using graphic design tools.
Yeah. Let's see. So you have some education. You said you went to school to do graphic design, and
Right.
you teach now?
Yes, I teach. I teach at least once a week, usually on Saturdays. Sometimes I'll have a 2 or 3 day class, depending on the painting. I've got one that I'm going to do that is roses. It's a setup that I did of things that I have around the house. And I probably will offer that as a 2 or 3 day class because it's just got a lot of detail in it. So, and I've done other 2 and 3 day classes, like I did one on clouds and I did one on flowers, that kind of thing. So, but I do teach regularly. Yeah, I have a studio in my home, and I used to do Hobby Lobby classes, but as you know, they've closed all their classrooms. We don't have that available to us anymore. But I do teach regularly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And do you enjoy that?
I do. I do. My son keeps telling me, you really don't have to do as much of that anymore. You should slow down. I'm like, well, how am I going to talk to people? That's my socialization. I like having people come in and we sit down and we chit chat and we paint, and we talk about everything, that's on our minds that day. And so it really is kind of a socialization for me. And at the end of it, people are surprised at how well they do. And that's the thing that I love, is because I've had people tell me I can't draw a straight line for nothing. I'm like, good, we don't do straight lines in my classes, and I tell them, you have to try. That's the main thing, is if you think you can't do it, you've got to try, or no, you can't do it, if you don't ever try. And I enjoy that. I enjoy when people come away and they look at other people's paintings, and I say, no, don't do that. Don't look at somebody else's painting. If this was your first ever painting, then you compare yourself to what you did before. If you've done nothing before, this painting is wonderful because you did it, and I think that's the message that I try to get out to my students.
I think that's life, where like if you don't take the chance, you're never going to succeed. So
right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I also tell them not to compare themselves to my painting, not to compare themselves to their neighbors. Just compare them to the thing that they did last. And if they've never painted before, what you did was wonderful. It may not be perfect, but you keep coming back and you keep learning, and you take classes from someone who's better than you. I still take classes. I go every year and I paint with Mary Carol Larson up in Illinois, and she's a wonderful artist, and I've learned so much from her. I take classes from people like Robert Warren. He's only about 2 hours from here, so I try to get up there as often as I can. And I still take classes because I want to learn more, and you keep learning. You don't ever get to perfection. You just keep learning.
Learn and practice, and that's what it takes to build it. So, yeah. Oh, seriously on a roll today. I dropped my paper. Okay. What is your favorite sort of subject to paint?
I like to paint things that have really great lighting. It can be a landscape. It can be an animal. I have a photographer that I bought the rights to several of his photographs because the lighting was wonderful. He just caught the animal just in the right light. And florals, you put a good strong light on a setup with florals in there, and oh my goodness, it's just beautiful. So, and seascape, I've done a couple of seascapes lately that I've taken a couple of different photographs that had good lighting, and I put them together, and it's all about the light. It really is. People don't look at the thing you painted, they look at the light that you've created, and that's what draws people to your painting. So, I love painting just about anything. I see a photograph that has good lighting in it, and I save it. I've got hundreds of photographs that I want to paint. Eventually, I'll get to some of them, but it really is all about the light. I had one instructor tell me one time, he says, we don't paint things. We do not paint things. We don't paint an apple. We don't paint a tree. We paint the effect of light on things, so that's what I look for when I'm looking for something to paint, is I look for that light that really shines and makes that subject pop for us.
Yeah, that's so true. Never thought of it that way, but totally true. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite piece that you've done?
Yeah, several, I think. I've got one that I don't have it on my website yet. I've done one that's an elk that I did. And then I've got couple of my latest seascapes are really favorites. You can tell when they're pretty good when you have people sign up for the class before you even post it. They're like, are you going to teach that one? I want to sign up for that one now. I'll pay you right now and just tell me when. So
yeah,
that's what I,
and I think sometimes too, it's like, we don't always love every piece we do, but sometimes there's ones that you just like better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. How long do you plan to paint?
As long as I can hold the brush. as long as I can hold the brush. And I've got several of my students who are older and their hands are shaking, and I show them how to even paint when your hands are shaky. You put your finger down or you get a maul stick or whatever, but as long as I can hold that brush, I'm going to paint. And it's what I do. I mean, I've just enjoyed the last, like I said, 6-7 years that I've really been painting every day. I've enjoyed that so much. And a lot of people who retire, they end up being bored. They end up not knowing what to do with themselves, or they become the babysitter who their job is just to take care of the kids, and they have no life of their own. And I tell my retired people that are in that position, I'm like, kick the kids out, give yourself something to do, find a hobby. And mine is painting. And I'm really glad that I had that to fall back on once I retired from regular work.
Yeah, because you need something to do.
Yeah, you get bored, and I've seen people that I retired from at the grocery store, and I'm like, how you doing? Are you enjoying yourself? Oh no, well, I'm bored. I wish I had a job back. I wish I had my job back, Well, it's because they don't have an interest that they love, something to get up for and do every day. And painting is great. And I've had a couple of people lately that have come to my classes who are saying that, I'm looking for something to do and something to get me out of the house and among people. And painting classes are great for that. They're not that expensive. You can do 1 or 2 a month very easily on any kind of budget. And I supply everything in my classes, so they don't even have to buy the paint and stuff. Although I do encourage them to buy the paint at home, set up a little card table, and have something to do there too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I will never understand people who are like, no, I don't have any hobbies. I'm like,
how can you
what do
not?
you do?
Yeah, how can you not? Yeah, become a real couch potato. I think that's the good way to hasten your passing, is if you don't have something to do that gets you up out of the bed and excites you every day, you're not going to last very long. You're just not going to last very long.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you sell your work?
I try.
Yeah.
I try. I'm getting ready to do prints, to do prints of some of my best work. And I've got a website that is separate. It's my fine art, what I call my fine art website, but I haven't really advertised it because I'm trying to get it set up to where people could order a print, or they could order the original or whatever. And I just haven't stopped long enough to get that all done. I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos. I've got some that I've already got the video shot. I need to put together or do voiceovers for, or, I've got that whole thing. I keep telling my son I need a secretary. I need I need someone to do all that marketing stuff for me, because there's a lot to do in order to sell your work. You have to know where to put your stuff. You need to know how to sell it. You need to know how to ship it. You need to know how to advertise it. And there's a lot to it. And if you could spend half of your time doing the marketing part, as much time as the painting part. And I did that for my whole career, my whole working career. I was in marketing of one kind or another, and I know how to do all that. I just don't want to do it. I want someone else to do it for me,
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm gonna put something together and see if I can't get some prints or something out there. But I'm not in a big hurry to do it, because I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying painting anything that I want to paint, and then teaching and doing the YouTube thing and all that. So I do packets, I do painting packets. I have those on my website, and I sell those. They have the pattern, they have photographs, they have instructions. I even do DVDs. I'll write it to DVD or send a link, however, like an e-packet type of thing. So I have those on my website too. So just keeping up with producing all that keeps me very busy. And at some point, I'll try to get that other website up and running and, maybe sell a few things. I don't know, but that's not my goal right now.
Mm-hmm. My thing about selling is just to make room to keep on painting. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. There's only so much space that you can fill up. So
right. Yeah. No, that is the big thing. Is like I said, I need a secretary to do all that stuff that I don't want to do, so I can just sit down and paint. And when I find myself getting away from being able to paint every day, that's when I know I have too much of the other stuff going on. But you got to do some of that too. Like my YouTube channel. I've got over 80 videos on there. Some are shorts, speeded up versions. Some are previews of classes that I have, on packets that I have. Some are full length, and then some are how-tos, like how to clean your brushes or how to clean your palette or whatever, So, and I always think of more stuff to put on there, so, but getting it all done, that's the key, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And having, the wheels always turning, what am I going to do next? So
yeah. And I never seem to run out of things to do. And sometimes I just have to sit down and do nothing. You got to give yourself a break too,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to get burned out at the same time. So
Right. And I did that once. Like I said, back when I did all those welcome friends and the welcome friends geese and painted beaks and feet, forever. I got burnt out. I really could not pick up a brush for probably 5 or 6 years because I just got so burnt out. Every time I sat down to paint, it started feeling like I was trying to do that routine again, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So it took me a long time to get past that and get back to painting. And when I did, I had to paint just things that I wanted to paint. All the beaks and feet and the welcome friends and all that stuff became like an assembly line type painting. And I can't do that anymore. I can't do that.
Mm-mm. No, I think if you're not painting for yourself, it takes the fun out of it really fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, let's see. Who inspires you as in other artists?
I would say Kevin Hill inspires me. I love his paintings. I love his manner of teaching. And I would say Robert Warren. He's amazing teacher, and I've learned a lot from him. The first time that I painted with him, I had just started painting, probably not even a year had I started painting again in oils. And I went to one of his classes up in, I think it was Minnesota or somewhere up there. Yeah. And Winona, is there a Winona?
There is a Winona. Yes.
Yeah, I went to Winona, Minnesota, up there, and did a class with him. And he came around and he was helping people. And he looked at my painting and he goes, "Hey, did you know you could paint?" And I about cried. I about cried. It was to hear someone of his level tell me that, yeah, give me that that I don't know, the goodness,
the
reassurance that I could actually paint, was amazing to me. And I've taken quite a few classes from him. I went to Vegas and painted with him. And like I said, he only lives a couple hours from here in near Columbus, Ohio. And I painted with him up there. And he inspires me and his work. I call him a master painter. And someone asked me the other day, what constitutes a master painter? I said, when you look at their paintings and you go, wow, you can tell that they have it down. They do beautiful work.
Yeah.
And so he and I think Kevin, Dorothy Dent, she inspired me when I first started. Her instructions were great. The things she did, I used to paint on saw blades and crosscut saws and mailboxes and all that. I did a lot of that when I did the arts and crafts shows in the malls. And I got my patterns and my ideas and my instructions from her. So, and she was a great one too.
Awesome. Okay, so my next question for you is, what does painting mean to you?
Painting to me is it's an outlet. It's an inspiration. It's a challenge. You have to have challenges in your life, and it's a challenge because each time you sit down and paint, you have to figure out what colors you're going to use, what values you're going to use, what's the composition you're going to set up. And so it's always challenging you. And when you come out with a painting that you look at and you go, all right, I didn't do too bad on that one, that's the reward, and then when other people admire what you do and want to come take classes or want your packets or whatever, that's a reward too, so art and painting is just, it's a challenge and it's a reward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so I have my bonus questions for you. Bonus question number one. If cost was not a part of the equation, what would be something you would indulge in your studio?
Better lighting. I have to struggle with the lighting all the time. And I don't know, I think I would probably build a whole other studio with lots more light and, all of that. But other than that, I have a pretty good setup, but I think, set it up to where the lighting was right, perfect for painting, whatever. That would be my wish on my wish list.
Right. I think if we could all build our dream studio, it would not be what we have currently.
Right.
Okay, bonus question number 2. What is your favorite tube of paint? Whether it's a certain color or a certain brand, what is your favorite tube of paint?
Right now I'm in love with greenish umber. It's a really dark green that I don't have to mix. It's just a really beautiful dark green that you can use in trees and, like that greenish umber. And then the other one would be the I can't think. I can see it. Cronone. It's a real bright pink. I can't think of what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you go through phases, right? And
Yeah.
I think greenish umber is my. And then there's also a color called uh, buff white or unbleached titanium white. It's
Yeah.
it's a kind of just a creamy white that
Mhm.
that you can use. Those two I'm really in love with right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean too. I like that unbleached titanium for like doing sands and beaches and stuff too, because it's a very natural color.
Right, right.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Okay. What is one non-art related special memory of something that has happened to you in your life that you would like to share?
Non-art related. Well, I think just able to enjoy my grandkids, and I now have two great grandchildren, and seeing them grow, every day. My grandson, I have a kind of a grandma suite that I live in the back of my house, and my grandson is living in the front with his girlfriend, and they're my new great grandchild. That's really kind of special to have them there. All the time, that I can go see that baby anytime I want.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
would be my kind of a special event that we had recently.
Yeah. And babies grow so fast. It's like you just have to
Oh,
grab onto that before they are grown up.
that's true. Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's see. I think that's about all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything else that you'd like to kind of share with us before we wrap this up?
No, I would say just keep painting, keep trying, don't get discouraged. And a lot of the Facebook groups are really good to get inspiration from and to get encouragement from. So, don't be afraid to put your stuff out there, because you can get a lot of encouragement and a lot of feedback that will help you grow as an artist.
Yes, absolutely. So let's find out where we can find you. Tell us where we can find you if we want to look for
Well,
you
I'm
online.
on Patreon. I also have YouTube. On my Patreon channel, I have a $10 a month thing where you get a new painting every month. A video, it's a video and instructions and a pattern that you can print out. I have the YouTube channel. I have my regular website, which is www.ginideaton.com, GINIDEATON.com. And then I have I'm on Instagram. You can look me up there. Just put my name in, you'll find me. And I'm pretty much everywhere. I don't do a whole lot on Twitter. I just don't find that is as helpful as Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is really where you get the most feedback. And then of course my YouTube channel is growing. So be sure, tell everybody, go click on that on my YouTube channel, subscribe and watch those videos, because that helps me get out there to other people. People don't understand that. I don't think that it helps YouTube to know to share your work out there when people are looking for similar things. And that helps grow the channel, and they'll show it more, if they do that. So, but that's kind of where I am, pretty much everywhere out there on the internet.
Yeah, awesome. And absolutely, for all of you out there, make sure that you guys go to her channel, like, share, subscribe. Like she said, it really does feed into letting other people in on what she's doing. And if you guys are looking for a really, really, really talented artist, this is where to look. Her work is incredible,
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
You have I have that one group on Facebook, and you've submitted a few pieces, and I'm just blown away every single time. Just so much talent.
Well,
So
thank you very much. Yeah.
yeah,
And do the same for Gabby. Be sure and subscribe to her channel and like and watch those videos, because it makes a difference. Help her grow her channel as well.
yeah, yep. That way we can keep getting more and more artists out into the world, which is
That's right.
exactly what I want. So yeah.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Ginny, so much for being with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yes, absolutely. Very much appreciated. Guys, I think that's it for our interview today. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you put it in the comment section of the video. We'll do our best to address them. Again, I am Gabby, and this is Ginny. Until next time, I really do hope that you guys fall in love with oil painting just as much as we have. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.